This question might sound tricky at first, but let's break it down step by step. When someone burns a copy of the Quran, it might feel shocking or hurtful, especially if you're a believer. But understanding what Muslims actually believe about the Quran and holiness helps make sense of why such acts don't diminish Allah's power or the Quran's sacredness. Let's start with the idea of holiness. Some people think that if something is holy, it should be untouchable or indestructible. But that's not how believers see it. Holiness isn't about whether something can't burn, break, or be destroyed. It's about its connection to something greater, something divine. For example, Christians believe Jesus is holy, yet they also believe he was crucified, nailed to a cross, and killed. This doesn't make him any less holy in their eyes. In fact, his sacrifice is central to their faith. Hindus, on the other hand, create idols of their gods and goddesses, but during festivals like Durga Puja, they immerse these idols in water, symbolically letting them dissolve. Again, this doesn't make their beliefs any less meaningful. It's part of their tradition and connection to the divine. So when someone burns a Quran, it's not the physical act that matters most. What's holy to Muslims isn't just the printed book, it's what it represents. Here's a key point. The Quran is not just a book. The word Quran literally means recitation. It's the spoken word of Allah, memorized and passed down through generations. The physical book that you see is called the Mushaf. Burning a Mushaf doesn't destroy the Quran because the Quran lives in the hearts of millions of Muslims who have memorized it. It's also preserved in countless copies around the world. Even if someone burns one book, the Quran is still there, untouched and eternal. In fact, Muslims themselves burn or bury old or damaged copies of the Mushaf out of respect. He's letting us decide, and we'll be held accountable for our actions in the end. For Muslims, the Quran is more than just ink on paper. It's a guide, a connection to Allah, and a source of comfort and wisdom. Burning a physical copy doesn't take away any of that. The Quran itself reminds us that everything in this world is temporary. The Quran says, "Everything will perish except his eternal self." Surah Al-Qasas, 88. Even the Kaaba, the holiest place in Islam, has been damaged and rebuilt several times. What matters is the faith and meaning behind these things, not their physical form. When someone burns a Quran, it doesn't harm Allah, Islam, or the Quran's message. It shows more about the person doing it than anything else. For believers, the Quran's true power isn't in its pages, it's in its divine message, its place in their hearts, and the guidance it gives. Holiness isn't about being indestructible. Only Allah is eternal and unchanging. Everything else in this world is temporary, including us. The Quran's real strength is beyond fire or destruction. It's in its eternal message, which no act of hatred can ever erase.